All right. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully, you're having a good morning. We'll let a little bit of time pass so that way people can join. We have have planned to do another 20 pairs of cleaning. So, ideally, like we talked about a couple days ago, the goal is to do clean live like once or twice a week, so that way if you miss it you can catch the other one, or if nobody shows up, at least there's a stream that people can go back and watch on how to actually clean shoes. So my goal today, I have 20 pairs in this bucket right here that I'm going to clean. It's going to be all different types of stuff, mainly running shoes, but there's some nicer shoes, there's some casual shoes, there's a little bit of everything in there. So the goal will be to show you exactly what I'm doing. So if you guys are along for the ride, that's great. I will just move the camera down so that way you all can see the actual shoes being cleaned. So yeah, we'll go ahead and start this and get this underway. But in the meantime, if you're watching this back in a live stream, I appreciate you being here. The goal, like I said, I try and do these at a pace that I would normally do it to show you that it can be done, but also slow enough so that way if you don't understand something or are stuck about it, you're not flying through it, basically. So hopefully the goal is to make the process and the ease of the video as nice as possible. So we're starting off with a pair of New Balances, and they have a little bit of sand on the bottom of them. So first thing that I will do is try and get all the sand off real fast, which does not take much effort at all. Let's see if there's any on this pair. There we go. All right. Get all the sand off the bottom, all of the hard chunks, all of that stuff off the bottom. And then in the crevices and stuff, I'm able to use the pick to get through all of that. If that makes sense. Bottom looks okay now. Now it's just cleaning the midsole and cleaning the top part with the white erase marker, which I got a brand new one today. So a little bit of grandma's, never hurt nobody. And then don't have to scrub hard, but it will look a lot better now. Like I said this a couple of streams ago. I'm kind of glad that when I do these clean lives, y'all don't have to look at me because I make weird faces when I clean, and I notice it, and then I stop immediately. But the faces that I make to try and get all this stuff clean is really funny. All right, so these are nice and clean. These just need to dry now. Now I got to do the other one. Top part all nice and clean, which it is now, and then it'll take a little bit to dry, which is okay. As we'll work on the next pair. But if you guys are just joining, I appreciate you being here. Let me know how your guys' last couple days were. I know that I didn't do a live yesterday, but hopefully y'all have had a good couple of last days. I don't know how to say that. Good couple of days. Sure. That's how that works. Good morning, Danette. How are you? Thank you for popping in. There we go. Now the live is back up. We're good. Like I said, my goal is I'd like to do it in less than an hour, but I've got 20 pairs. I know that it's going to take me a little bit longer than I normally do just because I'm talking and stuff like that. And I've already done 20 for today. Cleaning. I've already cleaned 20 for today. So I'm okay if it takes me a little bit longer. Obviously, the reason I do these is so that way to show you how I clean shoes and how you can clean shoes. But in doing that, I'll try and answer questions and stuff that people have. But if nobody's got questions and they just want to sit and act like this is a podcast, that's fine too. These were dirty on the midsole, but one little wipe over and they're going to be clean again. Perfect. I don't like the types of shoes that have the like edges on the side and the midsole, because then it cuts the magic eraser, and I just got a new one out and now it's already cut again, which sucks. I have a climate controlled storage unit and I have plastic bags where I noticed some of the shoes start molding. Do you get this issue? I do not have the issue of mold. I will say that once it starts to get warm, when I'm not in here, this is not climate controlled, so this is in a garage. So it's not even climate controlled, but I run a fan so that way air circulates. I'm not doing it right now, just for the noise factor, Khalid. But typically whenever I actually have the fan running, I never really have a problem. Now, there are some times where shoes have been sitting for a long time and they will disintegrate, and that's really unfortunate, but that happens about twice a year. So it's not something that I'm super concerned about. But like I said, I keep a fan running so that way the air is constantly moving in here. At some point, I would like to get this climate controlled in here, because from now until about September, it's really hot in here. And I know I'm wearing long sleeves, but I had a fan behind me before, so it wasn't so bad. Man, this pair was dirty. But yeah, I have the issue. I don't have an issue with mold. Mold would then, I mean, whenever I think of mold, I know mildew is technically water, but that's what I think of, is that somehow you're having too much water and condensation sitting somewhere, is my thought with the mold, but I could be wrong. So that's just my thought. Good morning. Is that grandma's and magic eraser you're using? Do you do soles with the same? No. So I spray the bottom of the soles. So I'll spray it with grandma's, right? It's the same thing, but I'll just use a brush instead of the magic eraser. The only time I use the magic eraser is either on the sides or the top. So, but yes, I do use it. I'm in Florida, Pensacola to be precise. Lots of humidity. Very fair. Then that makes a lot of sense. So glad you're doing the lives. I've sold clothing and a few hard goods on eBay for about 3 years now, but I've never figured out quite how to process shoes. Always learning. Well, thank you. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. It is a slow process. I've also been, since doing lives, I've been terrible about making videos as well. So I apologize about that. I need to make more stuff I find, stuff like that. I'm trying to figure out what videos y'all like. Unfortunately, my videos are not getting pushed right now. I don't know what happened. I don't know if that's everybody experiencing that or if it's just me or what, but like what normal views I was getting, I am not getting anymore. So I think a portion of that has like made me sad about it, because it's like I put in effort for some of these videos, not all of them. Obviously, there's some 15-second ones that I'm not putting a ton in, but there's some videos I put some good effort in, and then it doesn't get pushed, which kind of sucks. So I'm trying to balance that and also doing the lives, but I need to make sure that I'm actually doing videos as well. I made a post today. I don't know if you all have seen it on Facebook. Most of you are coming from Facebook anyways. But I made a post. I found a pair of Adidas Ultra Boost James Bond collection shoes yesterday. I am a massive, my dad was a big James Bond, still is a James Bond fan. And when I turned like 14, I think we watched like basically all of the James Bonds together. But now I'm a big fan of James Bond, so I wish they fit me because they are so cool. But if you haven't seen that post already, you can go check it out. It's on the Facebook page. But it's so cool. They were they're in such good shape too. So I looked them up when I made the post. I was looking them up. Like some of them have been selling for like $150 for the model that I have. So I'm excited about that. I was hoping they were my dad's size, so that way I could give it to him for like Father's Day or something. But they are 1/2 size too big for him, unfortunately. You are more than welcome, James. Yeah, so like basically, like I was just saying there, the actual white erase marker only gets used for the midsoles for me, and then I'll use the brush. I will say, I don't know if I think I have it in my cleaning supplies, but lint rollers are great. Sometimes you get random shoes that have a bunch of like hair sticking out the side of them, like this. The lint roller gets all of that up. Now, obviously, you need to be conscious of like if you're picking up shoes, don't pick up shoes with like a ton of dog hair on the inside of it, because you ain't getting that out. Once it's in there, it's in there. And if you can get it out, and you have a good solution to getting out, yeah, that is a tricky thing. Yeah, I saw I was green with envy. Good morning, Sarah. Yeah, it's fine. I really enjoyed finding those. That was cool. We got some cool stuff in for this batch as well. I like this colorway a lot. These are really nice. Also, if you ever see a pair that I'm cleaning live or you see a thing on eBay or anything, like everything's for sale. So if you guys ever see any pairs that you guys like and then you're like, oh, like I kind of like this, but I don't want to pay eBay prices. Trust me, if you come from the channel, I'll give you a better deal than I can. Like when I sold those boots, or I took a picture of those boots, I had 4 or 5 people message me about those boots because they needed them or they wanted them or something like that. And I gave them a better deal than what I listed them on eBay for. So yeah, always willing to make deals off of the thing. So if you ever see anything while I'm cleaning, please let me know because I do not mind. Yeah, these are sick. These don't need cleaning at all either. They're like practically not new, but they've been only worn like a couple of times. You can definitely tell. I hate this though. The place that I get these, they put pen on there instead of Sharpie, so I can't get it out. It's so dumb. So they use like a ballpoint pen, I think, and you can't get it out. So I have to Sharpie over every single one of the ones that are from that store, which is really dumb. But again, first world problem. But it's like it just use a Sharpie. Makes everybody's life easier. So we got a couple of people that are consistently here, and if you're new, I appreciate it. If you guys are consistently here, and so we did a live. What did we do Tuesday? We did a shipping live Tuesday, right? Yeah. How was y'all's Wednesday sales or Wednesday into today's sales? How was sales for y'all? Last couple days have actually been pretty good for me. Write a letter to complaint to management. I actually have the guy's phone number. I actually know the owner of it, so I could technically message him. It's not as big of a deal as I'm making it out to be, but it's just like one of those things where I'm complaining about it for the sake of complaining. It ain't that big of a deal. Because what are they going to be like? What's the thing? Aerosol, hairspray, or glue gun gets ink off marker for a while for me. Oh, see, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Yeah, I mean, the nail polish remover is great for Sharpies. I actually just, whenever I have a pen, like those issues with the pens, I just write over Sharpie. I feel like it's quicker, but like you were saying, there's other solutions for it too. These are really nice as well. These are very clean. This colorway is weird though. It's got this like yellow fronts, and then the soles are like practically perfect. Other than just the quick little dust on the bottom and these rocks that are somehow managed to go inside of the lettering of Adidas, which I don't know if those are ever going to come out. I got one out. Got 2 out. There goes the third one. It nearly hit me in the eye. All right. Aha. They're also filled with like clay dirt, which means, watch this. I don't know if you've ever seen the idea. My daughter does it sometimes when things irritate her. Me couldn't care less. Yeah. I don't know if you saw that, the amount of stuff that just came out of the bottom of that, but there is well, no, there's not anymore, but there was a lot of like clay. I don't even know, like the pellets or the clay or whatever. Oh, these are tennis shoes, so I would assume it's some sort of clay or tennis or pickleball court, whatever. But yeah, there was a lot in the bottom of that. I just dumped it and it's all sat in the bottom now of that thing. Gonna do it on this one now because if it's in one, it's definitely in the other. There it goes. It's all packed in. All right. Good. Now we got this pair. Is that thing of paints? Yep. That's gonna require acetone. Perfect. And it's gone like it was never there. Treasure chest. Yeah, it was a treasure chest of dirt. Nasty dirt. I don't even know what to call that. Like, it's like the clay that, like, I guess it's a clay court that these were being played on, because like, what was coming out doesn't seem like a normal tennis court. Hello, Brad. Surf's Up is texting me in the middle of my stream. I apologize to you that you guys can see that. But I texted Brad, and all of a sudden, it took him 45 minutes, and now he's texting me as soon as I'm live. Good morning. Been lurking for a while. Dig your content. Thanks, Hope. I appreciate it. Thank you for sticking around. Even if you lurk, that's fine. I appreciate the people that sit here and watch, or the people that comment. Either way, I appreciate you all. Sometimes I just like having people comment and stuff, because it's like I can actually like form a conversation and have like a little bit of like a online repertoire with people, so that way if you show up, or if I ever meet you, like I can kind of have a little bit of like, oh, I remember when you said X, kind of a deal. All right, these are super clean too. These are gonna need a 0 cleaning on the bottom, which is my favorite. They are practically perfect. All right, so they wrote in pen twice there. I don't know if you can see that. We're going to attempt to take this off with acetone. The first one worked. That is positive signs. The second one worked. That is positive signs. So sometimes it does come off. I guess it's based on the sole. Look at that. Clean, clean, clean. Beautiful. So the idea is that the more I don't have to clean, the happier I am. That's my idea for this whole thing, is the more I don't have to worry about cleaning, the quicker I can do things and get away from cleaning. That's very nice. All right, so these are good to go now. Next pair, or same pair, next shoe. But these should be similarly clean on the bottom. But, you know, there's the odd time where it's like, oh, yeah, it's fine on one, and then it's caked on the bottom. So let's see. Grand reveal. Oh, no, they're perfect. Literally perfect. Yep. That is going to sell for full price, too, because of how clean they are. Love that. All right. Same with these. I'm actually not even going to have to clean the bottom of these. Look at that. These are perfect too. These are golf shoes and they're perfect. So the only thing I'm going to need to clean on these is the midsole, which is fine. Happy to do that. I dislike with a passion cleaning the bottoms. The midsole I can deal with because it doesn't take too long. But golf shoes for me have been selling a little bit quicker the last 2 weeks. I think people are starting to realize that it's starting to get warm, which means golf. So I'm being very careful with my words because I know a lot of people watch this and then they're like, oh, Ethan said to pick up golf shoes. Let me be very careful with that. I'm picking up certain models that are selling well. I'm not just picking up every pair of golf shoes that I see just because golf is coming back. So not every pair of FootJoys sell. Not every pair of Adidas golf shoes sell. So let me be very clear with that before people are like, my golf shoes didn't sell. You told me to pick up golf shoes. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying certain models are selling well for me right now. These Adidas models are taking a little bit longer. But that's okay because I know that this model, because it's also a bigger size. So as you can see, the actual, I think these are 13. So it's a little bit more advantageous because there's going to be less size 13s in this model than like a 10 or a 9 or an 11 or something like that. So theoretically, that could have been really bad. We messed up the whole thing. But theoretically, that is the theory of my thoughts on these golf shoes. Theoretically, theory. I think my favorite, these golf shoes might be my favorite, I say that. Probably soccer. Soccer's probably my favorite stuff to pick up when they're decently priced and stuff. But golf shoes are probably pretty close. They sell really well for me. All right, pair of Cole Haans. People ask what type of dress shoes I pick up. I'm slowing down on Cole Haans. They're not selling as quick as they used to. But when they're discounted 75%, like these were, whoa, I just threw that tag. It's gone now. I will pick it up. So these were like $15, I think. And they were discounted 75%. So they're like, what's the math on that? $5? Like, that's a lot of time that I am able to save, because although they are like $5, they'll still sell at some point for like 45 to 50. Good morning from Minnesota. Thoughts on picking up cleats all sizes, kids and adults. Hey, this is basically what we're talking about with the golf shoes. I would stay away from kids cleats unless they're like the best of the best models, and I would be careful with just picking up all cleats. I think that some cleats are worth picking up, some are not. Again, I don't have a problem with it if you're paying like $1 or $2 a piece, and then you're able to sell it for like, some of the models will sell for like hundreds of dollars. And I sold a pair of cleats for a couple $100, but then there's some that don't sell for $10. So if you're getting them very cheap and you're able to get them under like $5 a pair, I don't really have a problem with you picking up all sizes. But I would just be careful with the models and how quickly you want stuff to sit, because cleats are unless they're like specifically really great cleats will sit. So they won't just fly off the shelves. They will sit. So that's one of those that's not a they're more of a long hold, if that makes sense, Chris. It's a great question. Good morning to you as well. These New Balances are really nice. And they're 2E wide, which means they're going to sell quicker. Why are they going to sell quicker, Ethan? Because people look for wide shoes. And because they look for wider shoes, sometimes you can get a premium for it. These, I'm not really sure if I'm going to be able to get a premium for it, but I might, just depending on the size. So these are like a 10 2E wide. And most of the time when they sell 10s, they don't sell them in a wide. So they will, of course they will, but they're much more hard to come by. So sometimes you're able to get a little bit of premium on the wider pair. Sometimes you're not. Let me be very clear. It's all model and brand dependent. But there are some brands that if you pick up a wide, it's like $40 more expensive. This is not going to be one of those. These might be like $10 more expensive, but $10 is still a lot of money. So we will take that. Do you pick up Peloton cycling shoes? I'm very in between on it. I have in the past. I think I picked up 2 this week, but they are, again, like cleats. They are a very slow sale. They take a very long time, so I try not to pay very much for them if I get them. I had 2 sell in the last month, so I replenished them with 2 more. That is, I'm not going to go and get 8 more pairs, but I think my ground rule is if a pair takes a long time to sell, but it sells for like a price that I'm willing to sit and hold it for. So like the last pair I think took like 93 days to sell, which is a long time, it's 3 months, but they sold for full price. So they sold for 49. So okay, I was like, okay, there's 1 for 1. Then I had another one that sold. It was about 100 days old. I was like, okay. So right now I'm basically 1 for 1ing. So anytime I sell one, then I'll go and pick one up. But I'm not like going nuts and trying to find every single pair, if that makes sense. I am a little bit frustrated with myself on this. So these are Nike Metcons. I literally told myself that I was going to stop picking them up, and I don't know what happened, whether I just had a brain fart or if I just decided that I was not going to listen to my own advice. But I picked them up, so here we are. We're going to try and sell them as quickly as possible. It's a good size, so like the size is not going to be the issue. It's just the model. Nike Metcons are not selling for what they used to, and they're also not selling as quickly as they used to. I used to be able to list a pair of Nike Metcons and they would sell the same day. That is not happening anymore. So, which is okay, like that's totally fine. But I had a conscious brain thought of not picking them up, and I don't know why I picked these up. Maybe it was because they were like $2. How much were they? They were orange 8. Yeah, they were 75% off. That's why I did it. But I wouldn't do it normally. I wouldn't even pay $8 for these. I think the only reason why I paid them is because they were 75% off on 8. Ooh, big question. Is it Sophia? It is Sophia. Good morning. I sell clothes, only mostly men's. My sales have been really good lately. I had 89 items and I sold 2 yesterday. Let's go. I'm selling 1 to 2 items a day without promoting. I started to do shoes. These videos have helped me tremendously. Thanks for sharing. You're very welcome. Thank you for watching, first of all, obviously. Without y'all, I am not doing this. So I appreciate however many people are in here. It means the world to me. So on my little thing, it says there's 24 people watching me between Facebook and YouTube. So there, I mean, I always think about that, and sometimes I'll get discouraged of like, oh, people aren't watching, and then I'm like, okay, put 24 people in a room, and there's 24 people either watching their screens, listening to me, or anything, sitting here watching me clean shoes. I'm like, I do have no reason to complain. So I'm very appreciative of every single one of you being here, because like I said, without y'all being here, I wouldn't do it. So thank you, and hopefully I'm able to teach you guys some stuff along the way that it makes this worth it for you. All right. Note to self, not picking these up anymore. No more, even if they're on discount. All right. These I am slowly picking up, though. Very slowly. I need to be very clear about that. I'm also, same thing with these Peloton cycling cleats. I'm about 1 for 1 on these. Whenever I sell one, I'll go and pick one up. These were a good price, though. These were $8, so can't complain about that. My buy cost jumped from $12 2 weeks ago to now my last 2 buy costs. So last week was $15.88, and this week was $15.01. So I'm having to be very careful of, like, obviously these are good because these are like $8, so they help lower the buy cost. But these K-Swiss Hyper Quartz, they're hit and miss. Sometimes they'll sell within a day. Sometimes they will literally take 2 years to sell. I say 2 years, like not 2 years, but like 6 months to sell. So yes. Keep pushing, it will grow. Yeah, that's the kind of the plan is I'm enjoying doing it like every once in a while. So I'm enjoying doing a live. So I'm basically doing like 3 or 4 a week now. which from going from 0 to 4 has been tricky because I'm not used to it. And as you can tell, last week I didn't have water. This time I brought my protein smoothie in here for the gym later because I basically lost my voice after that. I'm not used to talking for an hour and 20 minutes by myself. It's been a long time. Oh, I also need a haircut really badly. And Lydia cuts my hair, and she's been really busy at work this week, and so that is the reason why I'm wearing a hat. I don't typically wear hats. I'm not trying to become somebody that wears a hat very often, but I need a haircut, and I cannot risk y'all seeing how bad my hair is. I got my granny's sneaker cleaner in last night. Got to list some shoes today. Let's go, Ted. Also, if you guys get stuff from my Amazon storefront, y'all are the best, by the way, because I'll get a notification that it happened, and that means the world to me. So thank you. Thanks for supporting the little channel. That means a lot to me. So thank you. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do, because it is the best. That is like my dream partnership. If somebody knows anybody from Grandma's Sneaker Cleaner or Grandma's Secrets, that is like my dream partnership. Do you think the crazy bright color whales say well, or do you stay away from certain colorways? I stay away from certain colors, but there are sometimes, like, this is actually a really good shoe to talk about this for. Certain brands, models, and stuff like that, bright colors are great. Sometimes it's darker colors or like basic colors that are much better. So like these are insane colors, like green, orange, yellow, and red, right? Which I don't like very much, but these will probably sell faster than any of the ones that I've cleaned so far, just purely because the colorway is random. And I think when I looked these up, this was actually like a rarer model. So good morning, Faith. How are you? If anyone knows Grandma, let the man know. Yeah, I need to reach out to them. I'd probably promote them the most out of any person on the planet. So it's probably my due diligence that I need to reach out. But it'd be cool to have like a sponsored live. Sponsored by Grandma's Sneaker Cleaner. That would be cool. These are going to take some extra cleaning that I don't want to do, but I will. So as you can see, there's like little marks and scuffs on the side. This is a brave decision. I'm going to attempt to put acetone on it. Sometimes that can ruin the color. So when I do that, I get very tight in with the thing. And I'll rub against it like kind of like half-heartedly. And if I see that it's not taking like the paint away, then I know I'm doing the right thing. So see, it worked, but it's very, very tricky. Because you have to be careful because you don't want to take the paint off of the front part here. All right. These are good other than sticker on the bottom. But yeah, I would love to have a partnership with Grandma's. That would be fun. Everybody else got a partnership. I was partnering with eBay for a while, and then they went to Brad, which is fine. And then Wayne has Shippo. I would just like Grandma's. That's what I want. I love eBay back, but I would love Grandma's too. If I could get free Grandma's Sneaker Cleaner for life, that would be the world's best thing ever on the planet of all time. I need to stop talking about that. All right. So we're going to try this acetone thing again. On this side here. Just got some dark marks right here. I'm attempting to get that off. I went thrifting yesterday and picked up 5 pairs of shoes as a test, but it was Veterans Discount Day. Anything cool? Anything fun, Ralph? Or are you just going to keep it a secret of what you got? Oh, that actually came out. That was actually good. Scrub! I know I was saying a couple weeks ago to not scrub hard, but sometimes you can get the black parts off of this mesh stuff if you scrub a little bit harder. These are going to look very good, and hopefully they will sell for a bunch of money. These are Steph Curry's, by the way. I would not pick up this model normally. This model is an older model. It doesn't typically sell as well, but I think this colorway is pretty good. So we will test it and see. When you do have to clean it in washing machines, do you wash first or clean the soles first? Nope. So what I'll do is I'll wash it first, and then once it's out, then I'll clean it again if it needs like anything on the soles, just purely because it's going to get washed first. And so sometimes it's already getting cleaned. Sorry. Sometimes it's already getting cleaned. So it's like kind of like a double whammy, in my opinion. It's like, yes, you could do it, but at the same time, you don't really have to. All right, speaking of clean soles, look at that. We ain't doing nothing to those. Only thing that I'm going to attempt to do is get that pen off the bottom of these. And then I think we're moving pretty good right now. Yeah, see, this is the problem. See, when I got the pen off, then it becomes blue. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up, but it's like blue right here now. And the number is still there. So now it's blue, and there's a number there. So I don't know if I'm going to actually be able to get this out or not. Come on. All right, that's the best we can do. I think I'll cut up. How do you, Danette, great question. Thank you. How do you know that you have to send in just eBay authentication to you? Do they let you know when you create the listing or after they sell? Can you explain that process, please? Yep, sure. So eBay authentication is when you list an item that is in the athletic shoes and a specific brand. They have a brand's list that goes to it. You won't, like, there's nowhere you can find it. But when you list something over $75, let's just take an example for a pair of Nikes, right? You list a pair of Nikes over $75, it's going to the eBay authentication. Now, even if you sell it for $30, it's still going to the authentication because you listed it over that price of $75. Now, the cool thing is that eBay covers shipping, so it's $14.95, so it's expensive, but it basically pays to ship it to the authentication program and then back to the buyer. So eBay takes care of that. So the only thing you have to do is print out the free FedEx label, and that is how it works. Yeah, so like there's not necessarily, like, I know Adidas has, obviously Adidas is in there, Nike's in there, Hoka's are sometimes in there, On Clouds are sometimes in there. It's very dependent on the brand, model, stuff like that. Sometimes you don't have to send certain models in, but you would know pretty much immediately. So if you list from eBay, it'll like take over your shipping thing. So like if you have a shipping policy, it basically cancels it out because it's not shipping, like you're not shipping it to the buyer, you're shipping it to the authentication thing. So eBay takes care of it. So yeah, that's how it works. So start listing at 74. Yeah, so there are some times where I will list stuff at 74 just purely because the $5 extra isn't worth the hassle to the buyer. But if I've got more expensive pairs, like I'll list some stuff at 79. Sometimes like I'm okay with sending it to the authentication thing. And I think the biggest thing for me is that, like, if it's being sent, I know that eBay is taking care of me. So if the cool thing is if they return it and then it's not returned in the proper way that I sent it, so say they wore it a bunch and then it was used a lot and the condition is different when they bring it back, I can make an appeal to eBay. And every time that I've made the appeal, I've actually I got to keep my item and I don't have to refund their money. So, because that's the reason why you're going through the authentication program, is because you're sending, like, you're giving it to them to trust that this is the same item that you sent. So, What if an item is ran at an auction and it goes over? I actually don't know that. That is a really good question, Edward. I don't know. So I don't run auctions, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. But that is a really good question. I actually never thought about that. I would assume that it's going over 75, that it would probably go, but it may not. It may depend on. Wow, I didn't think about that. That's a really good question. I don't know. But to be fair, I think that auctions on eBay are not for shoes. I would not list shoes on auction ever. I think they're great for like collectibles, cards, whatever, like hard goods, some stuff like that. But like shoes would not be something that I would go in auction, just because you could lose a lot of money on it. And I feel like shoes, you kind of have like an advantage by putting it on a buy it now listing, if that makes sense. But I don't. To be honest, I actually don't see a lot of auctions for shoes specifically, other than obviously Whatnot, stuff like that, or eBay Live or whatever. But I don't see like people like doing, maybe on the more high end shoes, they might do auctions. But even still, that seems not smart, in my opinion. I would love to hear y'all's opinion on that. Like, would you consider, so say you've got an expensive pair of shoes or something, would your first thought be to list it as a buy it now, or would your first thought be to do an auction on it? My first thought is do a buy it now, because then I get to set the price. Auction, you basically have no control over it other than the parameters that you set on it, I guess. We're cooking today. I'm going a lot quicker. Edward with another question. I bought a pair of Harley boots that I bought for $5 and comps are 40 to 150. That is awesome. Well done. Yeah, Harley boots are great, as long as you can find them good prices. Sometimes I will say Harley boots, they do have a tendency to dry rot. I don't know whether it's the leather they're made or what, but they do have a tendency to dry rot, so just be careful with those. Chris, another question. Do you shop the bins, garage sales, retail arbitrage, or only thrift stores? One more question. Do you list winter boots year round? Great questions. So I don't shop the bins. Like I have said multiple times, if anybody in here shops the bins and they don't want to do shoes, but they want to like pick them up and want Ethan to buy them from him, I'm talking about myself in the third person, but I would love to find somebody that's doing the bins so I can pay people to basically shop for me. And they get paid for being at the bins, but also they can get clothes or whatever. But they also look at shoes and stuff. But no, I don't shop the bins. I'll do garage sales. Sometimes I'll do retail arbitrage and thrift stores. Thrift stores about 97% of my business at this point. By the way, look how clean these are. Today was a clean cleaning day. I know that I was like, oh yeah, it's a cleaning live. We basically just grabbed all the prices off the stuff. I've cleaned some stuff, obviously, but I mean, we don't have to clean these. Those are borderline brand new. Borderline, let me be very clear. Borderline. Some people will be like, oh, those look brand new, and then list them as brand new with the box. And those are not brand new with the box. They're probably worn once, if I had to guess. Shannon, do you price the items the same on all platforms? If not, what is your typical price difference per platform? Nope, I price everything the same because I feel like, truthfully, I'm going to say this, and this may piss people off. I think it is a more waste of your time to go and look up prices on every single platform than listing it the same price. And even if it's cheaper on one platform, at least you get the sale. But with shoes, I've never had an issue with listing it on the same price. That is my opinion. You can do whatever you want. But I think that for time, and I think for value of your time, value for other people's time, I think listing it at one price on all the platforms is the way to go. That is my opinion. But yeah, that is what I do. We got 2 more pairs of shoes left. I don't see you cleaning many uppers. If there are stains or fabric uppers, do you also use grandma's cleaner and magic eraser to clean that? Great question. If there are stains on uppers, mainly fabric, mainly mesh. I do not clean them with my hands. That goes into the washing machine because fabric and mesh actually do pretty well in the washing machine. So I will typically put them straight in there with Shout Action Spray to net. Again, I have that linked in my bio or in the top of this, but the Shout Action Spray, you basically spray it on top of the shoe where the spray is, and I sprayed it a couple times. And I probably do like 8 pairs of shoes a load. So I'll explain in here, not this one's, but great example. You can see these are in pretty okay shape, but right through here, I don't know if it's going to show really well. Basically, it's pretty yellow. But I know that I've done these before, so I feel pretty confident with putting them in the wash. I know it's probably not the right thing to do with Jordans, but I don't really care. I will spray, so not with this, obviously, so pretend like it isn't this, but with the action spray, I'll basically spray down the middle of it and then spray the like centers of where the issues are. And then in that, when it goes through the wash, it's like concentrating getting that clean, and it's great. It's just as magic as the grandma stuff. I love it. I've recommended it to everybody if you ever want to clean your shoes in the wash instead of cleaning them in here. But it is great. I also have that linked in the thing, but that's the reason why. If you don't see me cleaning it here, it's because I have a pile over there of shoes that I'm going to put in the thing. Do you run sales? If so, what discounts? I really don't run sales. I maybe will run a sale like once a quarter. I know that's going to sound crazy, but I have not run a discounted sale on my store since Christmas. I think the more that people see your store, so if people follow your store, follow your items or whatever, the more people see, or more often that people see you run a sale, they will then wait for the sale days to go and purchase rather than throughout the day or throughout the week, if that makes sense. So if you wait for the weekends to run a sale, psychology would say that you just wait for the sale to happen rather than going in that day. So I was a marketing major, so in my head, that's what makes sense. Obviously, I'm sure there's other people that have different opinions and they run sales all the time and it's great for them, but no, I don't really run sales. I boost on Depop, I guess. That's whatever that 8% fee to get boosted on Depop. I run promotions on eBay, so like I have 9% promotions on there. So I guess if that's what we're talking about, but again, like we've talked about before, I won't suggest doing a certain percentage to anybody for eBay. It's different on what people can afford and what they can't. So you just relist the shoes more often? Nope. I relist them every 30 days on all the platforms except for Poshmark, and then 60 on Poshmark. I'm just like everybody else. Just following the rules. Poshmark doesn't think I'm following the rules, so I got banned again, by the way. Again. It's the 20th time since they implemented the stupid rule in November. 20 times I have been banned because I sell too much stuff, apparently. I delist too much stuff, which is ridiculous. I got unbanned within 24 hours, but like, it's so dumb. The fact that like you can get banned for doing positive things for the platform, taking items down when they sell, selling items on Poshmark, like it's insane to me. Insane. And I get the same automated freaking response every single time. We've reinstated your account. Whatever. The worst, I will say, is when they ban you over a weekend because they won't reinstate it until Monday. So, like, if you get banned on Friday, good luck trying to get it. Yeah, you won't get it until Monday. So, like, your whole weekend's shot at that point. It sucks. Thoughts on Cole Haan, thinking about picking more up? I am, like I talked about, I don't know, you may not have been in here. I'm very 1-to-1 right now. on Cole Haans. So basically, one sells, then I'll go pick one up. But I'm not going crazy on them right now. Certain like newer models, like the models that are just coming out, if you find those are great. But the older models, they're taking a little bit longer to sell. I love your Poshmark voice, by the way. Thank you. Yeah, Poshmark voice is very Poshmark voice. Oh gosh, I freaking hate it. Can't stand it. These are really nice. These are the, what are these? Durablast? What are these? Oh, these are the Nova Blasts. These are great. Nova Blast 5. These are all black. I'm very excited about these. These are women's 8.5. These are going to sell for such good money. I got them. I think I paid like $17 for them, and they came with the tags. So somebody decided to donate these. I have no idea why, because these are like a couple $100 shoes, brand new. But you know who's not complaining? Me. I'm not complaining. So what I'll list these as is new other, and then in the description I'll put may have shelf wear, never worn, still have the tags, stuff like that. But make sure that it's known that like there's no box. They might have shelf wear, there might be a little bit of dust, stuff like that, but nobody's ever worn these. Oh, this price is the worst. Get it out. There we go. Just like that. Look at that. These are beautiful. So pretty. All right. This actually is the last pair, I think. I got to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I missed a pair somewhere. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh, I am missing a pair. Wow, that's poor. Just kidding. I got one more after this. Do you look for the manufacturer date on the shoes before picking it up? It seems like you mostly sell the newer models. So sometimes, yeah. So I'll look at like the dates and stuff occasionally. A lot of the times when I'm picking up newer stuff, it's just because I know the newer models. It's not because I'm looking for it. And it's not like I won't pick up some of the older models, but I am trying to pick up newer models just because that's what people want. They want the newer models, but they don't want to pay full retail for the newer models. So I sometimes will look at the date, and sometimes I just know. All right. Y'all are going to be disappointed with me, but I've actually already cleaned these. So a pair of Jordan 1s, they are in okay shape, but I've actually already cleaned these. These were just waiting for another day. So I'll use them now. All right. That is it. So if there is any other questions, hi. Hope y'all are doing well. That is it. I'm done. And I did it with 7 minutes to spare. Can you explain the different shipping supplies for each platform? Do you have specific boxes, polymailers, specific USPS and UPS? So, great question. Mercari, I ship out through UPS. It's the only one that I ship out through UPS. So that's just a white basic polymailer. Again, all of this stuff, the great thing about this is all of this stuff is actually linked in the bio or the link that I just put up on Facebook about this. So all of this is linked. So Posh or USP or UPS is sent out with those basic white polymailers. Depop is Ground Advantage. So it's the free Ground Advantage stuff that you can get from Poshmark. I have never had an issue with using the Poshmark supplies for anything else. I use it for eBay. I use it for Poshmark. I use it for that. I have a Poshmark account. If they have an issue with that, they can message me. Never had an issue with that. So Poshmark, Mercari, or Poshmark and Depop is the same thing. I don't have an issue with it. All the Ground Advantage supplies. And then the only other difference is I use the eBay polymailers for eBay. And that is it. Those are the only things that I actually end up using. There are boxes that I have, and I have them linked as well. It's a 14 6x8 box, and then a 16 12x6 box. That's about it. But most of the platforms use very similar thing. Thank you, Ted, for your question once again. What size shoes do you wear? I wear an 11.5, which is called the impossible size. because it's impossible to find my size. Anytime I see a pair of shoes like, a pair of anything that I like, it's never in my size. And if they are 11 and a half, they are not something that I would wear. So it's called the impossible size. But yes, that is basically everything that I've got today. We did 20 listings, which is amazing. I'm very excited about that. So now I've got 40 items that I need to now take pictures of, and 40 items that I need to bag, and then 40 items that go into this shelf behind me. So tomorrow, I think the plan tomorrow will be to actually do a shipping live. So we'll do that around the same time, around 9 o'clock Eastern time. So just be aware. And then Saturday, there won't be a live stream. Sorry about it. Sunday, there won't be a live stream. Monday, we'll do another cleaning live. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do like 2 packing lives and then 2 cleaning lives a week. If people prefer the cleaning lives, that's great. You can watch back the other ones. But I think that's a good balance. So that way I'm not sitting here taking 56 minutes to clean 20 pairs of shoes. That usually takes me about 15 to 20 minutes shorter. I love talking to y'all. Let me be very clear. I love talking to y'all and stuff like that. But sometimes it is helpful to get it done a little bit quicker. So I have other things that I need to do. But I don't mind doing it twice a week and then doing packing twice a week. It kind of gives me a little bit of both. So that way I can still keep myself accountable for doing stuff. I was supposed to have this thing turned on. I had a light box or a ring light. That would have been nice. Now you can actually see me. Now you can't. Fantastic. I forgot to turn that on. Do you sell sandals and other summer slides or mostly sneakers? Sneakers is 99 point, well, no, it's probably about 95%. And then boots is the other 5%. I'd try and stay away from sandals. I picked up 3 in the last 3 weeks. I think 1 sold. So again, we were getting back into the summertime, which is fine. But I try and stay away from sandals just purely because the average sale price is not as high as sneakers is. And because my buy cost is more expensive now, I need to make sure that my average sale price is higher as well to get as much money back as possible. But yeah, I don't think that summer shoes is bad. I think if you can get them for under $6 and you're willing to sell them for like $30, I guess it's like clothing. So for the people that do clothing and stuff, you find stuff for $5, $6, and then you're listing it for however much. I don't see anything wrong with that. But for me, it's not something that I try and pick up unless the sandals are unique, they sell for a lot of money, or I'm able to sell them quickly, something like that. Those are like my 3 things. All right, I think I'm caught up on questions. I really appreciate you guys hanging out. I will be live tomorrow, probably around 9 o'clock for shipping live. So hopefully we have a bunch of sales, so that way I'm able to show you different ways of how to ship. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. I will see you guys tomorrow.